And Chelsea, how important is that continued professional learning in the various roles that you do?
Yeah, yeah, it is very important because things are changing all the time.
They
So,
definitely are.
yeah, not just within the NDIS space. So, you've got to keep up to date with what's happening within the agency itself, but it's also really important to be across, new methods of practice, new styles of practice. Um, yeah, it is always important to be open. I think having an open curiosity is a really great way to be.
Yeah, definitely. And I think even, yeah, even for myself, I'm always looking for any other, training opportunities of what's out there. Is there another book I can read? Is there another piece of research I can read? And there often are either free or low cost options as well. And I do try and share them on my Facebook group if I can, if I can make a little bit more cost effective for someone else, then I will try and do that because I, understand that some people, especially independent support workers who may not have a regular client base yet, they may struggle, with the financial aspect of paying for quite expensive professional learning. So I always think it's good to look for opportunities that's either free or low cost while you're still sort of getting your business established and have more of those financial resources.
Yeah, absolutely. Like a place that's really great is even going on LinkedIn, and finding
I
connections
love
there because
LinkedIn.
people
And we're
will
also
share.
connected on there too.
Yeah, yeah. People will share a lot on LinkedIn. Professionals will share a lot on LinkedIn. Links to articles, links to free information. So it's a great spot to be popping in and out of every now and then.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of what's shared on LinkedIn, someone else who writes a lot of good articles with that are jam-packed of information is again Alex Sturman
Yeah,
from Supervision. He actually writes a lot of really good articles. So and that's all free to access. And I
it
don't
really
know, I
does.
don't.
I
Yeah,
love the
he's
way that
really good.
Alex actually he'll write an article, but almost in a way where he's asking a question. He's inviting a conversation in when he writes an
Yes.
article.
Yes, which I think is really good. Anytime I read an article or research, I straight away think, well, how is this relevant to my practice? And I like to think of what's actually after reading it, what can I actually action now and put in place? And I think Alex does that well by sort of encouraging us to actually reflect. And that's another passion of mine is reflective practice and reflective practice is just so essential in the work that we all do, whether we're working with NDIS participants or with any other sort of like funding system, is the ability to reflect on our own practice and things that we could do differently, and also having a peer like a space where all peers come together is also so helpful. Chelsea, have you had any positive experiences with reflective practice so far?
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel like the most beneficial I've ever had is in a form of a reflective group practice.
Hmm.
Because the more I always think the more the merrier when it comes to minds, right? So you have great having a one-on-one because especially when it's with an expert.
Hmm.
But when you're in a group, it's so many more ideas that are flying around and so many different perspectives too. And that's what you're looking for, I feel. Well, that's what I'm looking for when I'm doing a reflective practice. Because I see things obviously through my lens, but you're going to see things through Jasmine's lens, and Joe's going to see things through Joe's lens. So the more people you have in that group practice, the more different lenses and sort of views you're going to get of things. And I find that to be incredibly helpful.
Definitely. And especially group reflective practice where there's different professional disciplines all coming together.
Oh, yeah.
Because I used to do a lot of group reflective practice when I worked in school wellbeing roles, and I used to facilitate a group reflective practice, and we had multiple other professionals. So we had psychologists, youth workers, counselors, OTs, basically any, I guess allied health professional working in schools, and everyone would have such a diverse perspective, and then they would recommend resources that I just have never heard of, but were really something that I could embed in my practice as well. So I can't speak highly enough of even the multidisciplinary
Yeah.
group reflective practice as well.
Absolutely, because that brings, like you say, that diversity in that you otherwise wouldn't have had. Just sticking to a group of social workers or a group of
Mm.
support workers or a group of recovery coaches. So, yeah, it definitely brings a whole nother element, another like, extra richness